Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. So today we are commencing the English medium full moon day Dhamma program of the International Institute of Theravada. So I will be conducting a Dhamma talk series on MÄGHA Nikaya. MÄGHA Nikaya. So MÄGHA Nikaya is in the Sutta Pitaka. We know that there are three baskets or three parts of the all the teachings of Lord Buddha. Those are Vinaya Pitaka, Sutta Pitaka and Abhidhamma Pitaka. So MÄGHA Nikaya is included in Sutta Pitaka. So there are about 150 suttas or discourses in MÄGHA Nikaya. So we will be focusing on one sutta today, and in the future Dhamma talks also we will be focusing on one sutta on each full moon day, and we will be discussing about that sutta comprehensively. So the Dhamma talk will be like a lecture. We will be focusing on the sutta itself. It will not be a mere explanation. We will read the sutta and we will discuss the Dhamma points in the sutta. So today I chose APAÄNNAKA Sutta, which is in the second part of MÄGHA Nikaya. There are three parts inside the MÄGHA Nikaya: Moola Pannāsaka, Majjhima Pannāsaka and Upari Pannāsaka. So this APAÄNNAKA Sutta is included in the second part, which is Majjhima Pannāsaka. So the 10th sutta of Majjhima Pannāsaka. In whole MÄGHA Nikaya it is the 60th sutta, because in the Moola Pannāsaka there are altogether there are 50 suttas, and in Majjhima Pannāsaka this is the 10th sutta. So in the whole MÄGHA Nikaya, APAÄNNAKA Sutta is the 60th sutta. So APAÄNNAKA Sutta is about we call it the doctrine of certainty, or we can call it guaranteed path or guaranteed way. So that is the meaning of the term APAÄNNAKA, guaranteed or assured. So yeah, we will start our Dhamma talk. We will be reading the sutta with the help of the digital board. So we will be using the translation by Bhikkhu Sujato, because if we read the APAÄNNAKA Sutta by Pali language, if we read the original Pali Sutta, it will be a mere waste of time. So we will only be using the translation of the sutta. APAÄNNAKA Sutta, guaranteed. This is how it is translated by Bhikkhu Sujato, guaranteed. The APAÄNNAKA Pali term has the meaning guaranteed, or as I mentioned, it has the meaning assured. Something which is assured, something which is certain can be called as APAÄNNAKA. So this is, the sutta is about this guaranteed or assured path towards something. Let's see what is that about. So this is how the sutta begins. As in any other sutta, it begins with so I have heard. So I have heard. So what is the meaning of this this small sentence, this tiny sentence? So I have heard. I have heard like this. This sentence, this statement is said by Venerable Ananda, because we know that almost all the suttas in Sutta Pitaka are first recited by Venerable Ananda in the first Buddhist council. Actually Buddha himself delivered the suttas, I mean almost all the suttas, and then Venerable Ananda learned them from Buddha. He memorized them, or he bared those suttas in his mind, and he recited them all in the first Buddhist council. So this is how he starts the recitation. So I have heard this sutta like this. I have heard this sutta from the Lord Buddha like this. So I have heard. In Pali it is evang me sutang. Evang me sutang. At one time the Buddha was wandering in the land of the Kosalans together with a large sangha of mendicants when he arrived at a village of the Kosalan Brahmins named Sala. So this is the story behind this sutta. So one time the Buddha was wandering in the land of the Kosalans. Kosala is a clan, those who lived in the Kosala region of India, Kosala state of India. So the people who lived in that region are also called as Kosala. So in the land of the Kosalans, means the Kosala region itself. So Buddha was wandering in the Kosala region together with a large sangha of mendicants. Not only Buddha himself, but together with a large sangha of mendicants. So here mendicants, the term mendicants refers to the bhikkhus or monks. So the meaning of the word mendicant is a beggar, right? So someone who begs is called as a mendicant. So monks are also type of beggars because they have to beg for alms, they have to beg their meal from someone else. So they are called as mendicants. Actually the Pali word is bhikkhu. So the grammatical meaning of the Pali term bhikkhu is also mendicants. Bhikkhati iti bhikkhu, someone who begs. So we can use the term monks or bhikkhus here instead of mendicants, but the grammatical meaning of bhikkhu or bhikshu is mendicant. So Bhante Sujato have used this term here. When he arrived at a village of the Kosalan Brahmins named Sala, so there was a village in the Kosala region which is called as Sala. Sala is the name of the village, and that village was belonging to Kosala Brahmins, Kosalan Brahmins, the Brahmanas who lived in Kosala region. So in that village, Kosala Brahmanas or Kosalan Brahmins lived. So Buddha together with a large number of mendicants arrived at that village. Then what happened? The Brahmins and householders of Sala heard. The Brahmins who lived in that village, Sala, and the householders, we call in Pali Gahapati, householders who lived in that village, they heard something like this. It seems the ascetic Gautama, a Sakyan gone forth from a Sakyan family, wandering in the land of the Kosalans, has arrived at Sala, together with a large sangha of mendicants. So they heard, the people who lived in the village called as Sala heard that Buddha together with a large sangha of mendicants, sangha means a group, has arrived at Sala. This is actually the original translation of the sutta. This is not an explanation, this is not an indirect description to the sutta, but this is the sutta itself. So we are reading the sutta. It's like reading the original sutta in Pali. I decided to use the translation because there are many people, monks, nuns and lay people who really like to read suttas, but they cannot read because of the lack of knowledge in Pali language. So when if you can read Pali, if you know Pali language, you can easily read anything, but if you lack Pali knowledge, then it is difficult to read suttas. So using such a translation is an alternative for such people, but still if you do not have a proper guidance from someone, so from a teacher or from a knowledgeable friend, it is still somewhat difficult to read, because the original translation given to the sutta is somewhat, it is not the general English, it is a translation given to Pali, right? So it is somewhat difficult without a guidance. So by using the original translation like this, and with my guidance, you will be able to read the sutta itself, the sutta uttered by Lord Buddha, effortlessly. So the Brahmins and householders of Sala heard that Buddha and the monks have arrived in their village, and they also heard that he has this good reputation, that blessed one is perfect, a fully awakened Buddha, accomplished in knowledge and conduct, holy, knower of the world, supreme guide for those who wish to train, teacher of gods and humans, awakened, blessed. So these all the terms are adjectives for Lord Buddha, and in other words, all these terms are for the qualities of Lord Buddha. So this is the translation of the statement about Lord Buddha. Itipiso bhagava arahan samma sambuddho vijjacharana sampanno. So here the term perfected is for arahang, perfected. That blessed one, so bhagava, that blessed one is perfected, arahang. A fully awakened Buddha, samma sambuddho. And then vijjacharana sampanno, accomplished in knowledge and conduct. So vijja is knowledge, he has the knowledge about everything, and he is also accomplished in conduct, because in the world there are people who possess the knowledge, but they do not conduct, they do not live according to that knowledge in their real life. There are some Buddhists who know Buddhism, who know the teachings of Buddha, but they cannot apply those teachings in their real life. So Buddha is not like that. He is accomplished in knowledge as well as the conduct. And the next word is sugato. Sugato is translated as holy. And Lokavidu, knower of the world, he knows everything about the world. Anuttaro Purisa Dhamma Sarathi. So that is one quality. Anuttaro Purisa Dhamma Sarathi is one quality. And some consider Anuttaro as Anuttaro and Purisa Dhamma Sarathi as two separate qualities. Anuttaro and Purisa Dhamma Sarathi. So according to them, there are 10 qualities of Buddha. But here we consider it as a one quality. So supreme guide for those who wish to train. Anuttaro Purisa Dhamma Sarathi. Anuttaro, supreme. Purisa Dhamma Sarathi, guide for those who wish to train. He is the supreme guide for the people who hope to train, who hope to tame themselves. So this is how it is translated here, but this can also be translated as he is the supreme guide for the people who should be tamed. There are people who should be tamed. Almost all the Puthujjanas should be tamed, because they are with defilements. To be purified, they should be tamed. So even sekhas like Sota, Panna, Sakadagami and Anagami, until they attain arahantship, they should be tamed. So for those all who should be tamed, he is the supreme guide. And Sattha Deva Manussanang, teacher of gods and humans. He is the teacher of gods, Deva, and humans, Manussanang. Buddho, awakened. He has awakened from the unwholesome sleep, or sleep which is called as defilements. Puthujjanas, the normal people in the world are, even when they are awakened from the sleep, they are still like sleeping, because they have defilements within themselves. They have moha, delusion, especially delusion, and many other defilements such as greed, hatred, and so on. So until they because they have those defilements, they are like sleeping, they are not still fully awakened, but Buddha has awakened because he does not have any defilement within himself. And Bhagava is blessed. So these are the 9 qualities of Lord Buddha. So they hear that Lord Buddha has this kind of reputation. Not only that, he has realized with his own insight this world with its gods, Maras and Brahmas. They also, the people in the Sala village also hear that the Buddha has realized with his own insight, with his own intelligence, this world. He has realized the whole world, including the gods, Maras and Brahmas in the world. And this population with its ascetics and Brahmins, he also has gods and humans. The Buddha also has realized, he also has known the whole population in this world, including ascetics, that is monks, and Brahmanas, gods and humans. So briefly, Lord Buddha has realized this whole world, and he has realized, or he has known all the population. And he makes it known to others. After realizing about this world and about all the beings, Lord Buddha makes it known to others. He teaches that to others. He teaches Dhamma, that's good in the beginning, good in the middle, and good in the end, meaningful and well phrased. He also preaches Dhamma. The Lord Buddha preaches Dhamma to the world. He teaches Dhamma to the world, and that Dhamma is good in the beginning, good in the middle, and good in the end. So that Dhamma is good everywhere, not on like we know that in some religions there are some good teachings as well as bad teachings. There are some unhumanistic teachings in some religions, but in the Buddha's teachings, the beginning is good, the middle is good, and the end is good. Everything Buddha teaches us to do is only good. He always encourages us to do good. He always encourages us to get rid of bad deeds. He never encourages us to do bad. None of his teachings is encouraging us to do any bad, do any harm to oneself or others. And this can also be described in another way. In the Sasana, the teachings, in the teachings of the Buddha, the beginning is Sila, virtue, and the middle is Samadhi, and the end is Panya, Sila, Samadhi, and Panya. So we have to start from Sila and we have to end by Panya. So the beginning Sila is good, and the middle, which is Samadhi, is also good, and the end, which is Panya, is also good. And meaningful and well phrased. All the teachings of Lord Buddha is meaningful. There is no meaningless teaching in within the Tipitaka, or within the teachings of Lord Buddha, and well phrased. And he uses only appropriate words. He never uses inappropriate or meaningless words in his teachings, and his teachings are even grammatically correct. And he reveals a spiritual practice that's entirely full and pure. Lord Buddha reveals to the world a spiritual practice that is entirely full and pure. The spiritual practice taught by Buddha, which we try to practice, which we try to apply in our lives, is completely full and pure. It is complete, and also it is pure. In our practice, there is nothing dirty or unclean. Everything we have to do is pure. And so this is the reputation about the Lord Buddha. So the people in the Sala, the Brahmins and the householders of the Sala think that it's good to see such perfected ones. It's good. It's good. It's beneficial for your life to see such perfected ones. So after realizing this, after discussing like this, what happens? Then the Brahmins and householders of Sala went up to the Buddha. Having heard that reputation about Lord Buddha, the Brahmins and householders of the Sala went up to the Buddha. Before sitting down to one side, some bowed, some exchanged greetings and polite conversation, some held up their joined palms toward the Buddha, some announced their name and clan, while some kept silent. So after going up to the Buddha, some of the Brahmins and householders bowed towards Buddha, because if they have saddha, if they really respect and believe Lord Buddha, they bow to the Lord Buddha. So some of them bowed, while some exchanged greetings and polite conversation with Lord Buddha. So they ask about the health and happiness of Lord Buddha, and Lord Buddha also asks about the health and happiness. So that is exchanging greetings and polite conversation. So some people do not bow to Lord Buddha, they just talk with Lord Buddha before sitting to one side. And some held up their joined palms toward Lord Buddha. So they pay their respect by joining their palms toward Lord Buddha, and without bowing towards Lord Buddha. And some announce their name and clan. So this is also one kind of introducing themselves. They announce their name. My name is this or that, and some people announce their clan before sitting down. So they do not bow or they do not exchange greetings, and they even do not join their palms towards Lord Buddha, but they just announce their name and clan before sitting down. And some people, they just kept silent. They did nothing. They just kept silent and sat to one side. And then the Buddha starts the conversation. The Buddha said to them, "So householders, is there some other teacher you are happy with, in whom you have acquired grounded faith?" Buddha starts the conversation by asking the householders. There are Brahmins and householders. Both type of people are there, but Buddha called them by the term householders or Gahapatayo. So householders, is there some other teacher you are happy with? So Buddha directly asked them, is there any other teacher you are happy with? Is there any other religious teacher? This is about a religious teacher he's asking. Is there any other religious teacher or religious leader you are happy with, and in whom you have acquired grounded faith? So grounded faith is faith with base, faith with a foundation, reasonable faith. Not just believe in someone, but believing someone with proper reasons. So that is called as grounded faith, a faith with a foundation, faith with a base. So Buddha asked those householders whether they had such a teacher where they had acquired grounded faith. So the householders answered to the Buddha, "No, sir, they hadn't such a teacher. They hadn't such a religious teacher who they believed, who they respected." So then Buddha said to them, "Since you haven't found a teacher you are happy with, you should undertake and implement this guaranteed teaching." So Buddha suggests them a teaching which is called as guaranteed teaching or assured teaching. Since you haven't found a teacher you are happy with, because you haven't found a religious teacher you are happy with, because you do not have a religious leader to believe in, what you have to do is you should undertake and implement this guaranteed teaching. There is a guaranteed teaching which I will teach you. So you have to undertake that, and you have to implement that. You have to apply that teaching to yourself. So Buddha does not encourage the people to have faith on himself. Instead, he encourages them to undertake and implement a guaranteed teaching that he will be teaching. So why should they undertake and implement that teaching? For when the guaranteed teaching is undertaken, it will be for your lasting welfare and happiness. If you people undertake and implement this guaranteed teaching, which I will be explaining, it will be for your lasting welfare and happiness. That is why Buddha is teaching this guaranteed teaching to the people in Sala village. So nowadays also in the world, there are people who do not have any faith on any religion. There are people who do not have any religion. We call them nuns, right? Nuns, the people without any religion. So these people in the village Sala are also like that. They did not have any religion. They did not believe in any religious teacher or religious leader. So let's see what Buddha suggests them to do if they do not believe in any religious leader. And what is the guaranteed teaching? What is that guaranteed teaching Buddha now is going to explain? There are some ascetics and Brahmins who have this doctrine and view. In this world, there are some ascetics. That means there are some religious leaders, or there are some monks, in other words, and Brahmins who have this doctrine and view. So they who have this opinion and view about the world. What is that view? We call it the doctrine of nihilism. That is how this doctrine is called. So this part is not in the sutta. I just put it here as a topic, the doctrine of nihilism. Buddha is now going to teach the doctrine of nihilism, which is existing in the world even today. There's no meaning in giving sacrifice or offerings. So some people believe that there is no meaning in giving sacrifice and offerings. So religious people who believe in a religion usually believe in the meaning of giving sacrifice and offering. So they give what they have to the people, to the poor people, and maybe to their religious leaders, and to animals. And they believe that there is a good result of such good deeds. There is a meaning in giving sacrifice and offering. But there are, of course, some people who do not believe in that meaning. They do not believe in the future result of such deeds. Or in other words, they do not believe in karma, right? Karma. You do something good and you get something good in this life or in afterlife. So there are some people who do not believe in afterlife. There's no fruit or result of good and bad deeds. So this is again mentioning the previous sentence directly. There's no fruit or result of good and bad deeds. So those people, some ascetics and Brahmins, that means some people in this world believe that there's no fruit or result in good or bad deeds. Whatever you do good or you do bad, there is no future result of good and bad. You just do and it finishes, that's all. You will not get any result from such good and bad deeds. There's no afterlife. Some people have the opinion and view that there is no afterlife. Even today we experience this. Some people in social media, they openly say that don't worry about the afterlife, just enjoy this life, because we are not sure about an afterlife. So even nowadays there are such people who do not believe in afterlife. And there's no obligation to mother and father. That means like we believe as religious people as moral people, we believe that we have obligation towards mother and father. What we do to mother and father, we will have to face the results of that deeds. If we do good to our parents, it will result good, and if we do bad to our parents, it will result bad. And no beings are reborn spontaneously. So spontaneously born beings. Spontaneously means appearing without parents, like gods and brahmas. So we believe, as religious people, we believe that there are such beings which we cannot see with our naked eye, but those people do not believe that no beings are reborn spontaneously. Just there are who exist are the people and the other beings which we can see with our eye. There are no gods, no brahmas, no spontaneously born beings in this world. And there is no ascetic or Brahmin who is well attained and practiced, and who describes the afterlife after realizing it with their own insight. So this is also rejecting the afterlife in another way, because we believe that Lord Buddha, and there are many other ascetics, many other arahants who realized the afterlife, who saw the afterlife by their own insight, and we believe, we rely on their insight. We as normal people cannot see that there is an afterlife, but we believe, we rely on the ascetics and Brahmins who said that there is an afterlife. So those people say that there is no ascetic or Brahmin who is well attained and practice, that kind of wisdom and practice that kind of wisdom, and who describes the afterlife after realizing it. They realized it by themselves, and they describe about the afterlife. So these people say that there cannot be such ascetics or Brahmins. So that is the doctrine of nihilism. Doctrine of nihilism, not believe in afterlife. They believe that there is no afterlife, just enjoy what you have in this life. And Lord Buddha continues, and there are some ascetics and Brahmins whose doctrine directly contradicts this. There are some ascetics and Brahmins, and let's say there are some people whose doctrine or whose view is directly contradictory to the previous doctrine. What is that? There is meaning in giving sacrifice and offering. There is meaning in giving sacrifice and offering. That means there are results of what you do. If you do good, that will result in good. If you do bad, that will result in bad. So there are fruits and results of good and bad deeds. Repeating it in another way, there are fruits and results of good and bad. If you do good, there will be good results. If you do bad, there will be bad results. And there is an afterlife. There is, of course, an afterlife where you will have to enjoy. Where you will have the opportunity to enjoy what you did in the previous lives, if you do good, of course, and where you will have to suffer if you did bad in your previous lives. So there is an afterlife. There is obligation to mother and father. There are beings reborn spontaneously, and there are ascetics and Brahmins who are well attained and practiced, and who describe the afterlife after realizing it with their own insight. So they believe that there are people such as Buddhas and Arahants and people with jhanas, people with special kind of knowledge or wisdom or insight, who can see the afterlife. So there are some people in this world who believe in afterlife, who believe in the result of what you do, like us, like Buddhists. And even nowadays in some other religions also, they have this view. They believe in afterlife. They believe in God also, but still they believe in afterlife. They believe in the result of what they do. So like this, there are two types of people. What do you think, householders? Don't these doctrines directly contradict each other? So Buddha asks from those from that audience whether these two doctrines contradict with each other or not. So yes, sir, yes, those two doctrines are contradictory to each other. So when there can be such contradictory two views among people, what you should do? Because these people who did not have any religion, who did not have a religious leader, have no view about afterlife. They do not know whether there is afterlife or not. We as Buddhists believe in Lord Buddha and we believe in afterlife. But sometimes we Buddhists also are skeptical about such things because we cannot see them by ourselves. We just believe what Buddha said or what is there in the religious texts. So what should we do? What should we do? Should we merely accept what is there in the religious texts? Are we bounded or limited to the religious texts? Don't we have don't we have the chance to think freely? Isn't there freedom of thought in Buddhism? So this is what Buddha suggests. Since this is so, consider those ascetics and Brahmins whose view is that there is no meaning in giving, etc. So first consider the first doctrine, the doctrine of nihilism, who believe that the doctrine of the people who believe that there is no afterlife. Consider that. You can expect that they will reject good conduct by way of body, speech and mind and undertake and implement bad conduct by way of body, speech and mind. So what you can expect from those people is that they will reject good conduct. Why do we do good conducts? Why do we learn Dhamma? Why do we preserve Sila? And why do we meditate? Why do we do other merits? Because we believe in afterlife, right? We believe in afterlife. So if someone do not believe in afterlife, there is no reason for him or her to good deeds, to do good deeds, to accumulate merits. So what he or she will do is rejecting the good conduct by way of body, speech and mind, kaya, vacha, chitta, right? So the good conducts that should be done using your body and the good conducts that should be done using your mouth and your mind. So he will reject them and he or she will undertake and implement bad conduct. He or she will undertake and implement bad conduct because whatever you do, there will not be any result according to their view, according to their doctrine. So this is what we can expect from them. So someone can argue that there is not, why should we expect like that? A man or someone can just do not believe afterlife but still lead a good life. Yes, that is a good argument, but we have to accept that there is a tendency in humans to do bad. In psychology also we learn that there are some bad urges within us unconsciously that makes us do bad, but still because of the moral principle we limit ourselves to do good, not doing everything that comes to our mind. And in Buddhism also we have a type of unconscious mind, and that unconscious mind is also controlled by bad urges, and because of that we have tendency, now according to Buddhism also we have a tendency to do bad. If there is no religion, if there are no rules in the world, we will do all the bad in the world. So that is what we can expect from them. Why is that? The reason is that because those ascetics and Brahmins don't see that unskillful qualities are full of drawbacks, sordidness and corruption. Those people who do not believe in afterlife do not see that unskillful qualities, akusala dhamma, right? Akusala dhamma, unskillful qualities akusala dhamma, in other words unwholesome qualities, have drawbacks, adinava. Sordidness is the unnobleness, unholiness and corruption. So unwholesome qualities like raga, dosa, moha and so on are full of drawbacks. They are sordid and they are corrupted. Whenever they appear in our minds also get dirty, right? They get unclean. So they are corrupted and they make us corrupted. And that skillful qualities of kusala dhamma have the benefit and cleansing power of renunciation. So the kusala dhamma like alobha, adosa, amoha, saddha, virya, sati, samadhi, panya, etc., they have the benefits of renunciation. Renunciation means going away from akusala, renouncing from the side of akusala. So that is one ability of kusala, right? Whenever we do a good deed, whenever we meditate, we do not have akusala in ourselves. Otherwise we will have akusala, unwholesome thoughts all the day. But whenever we do good, whenever we focus on a good thought, those akusalas go away and our mind gets clean. So cleansing power of renunciation. Benefit means the benefits of the wholesome thoughts, benefits of kusala in this very life and in afterlife. So such people do not believe in those benefits and that cleansing power of kusala. Not only that, moreover, since there actually is another world, this is according to the Buddha's view, Buddha's doctrine. There is actually another world. Since there is, their view that there is no other world is wrong view. Their view is wrong. Since there is actually another world, their thought is wrong thought. There is another world in fact. So the thought that there is not another world is wrong thought, and their speech that there is no another world is wrong speech. They tell to others that there is no another world, don't believe in afterlife, just enjoy what you have in this life, don't believe in what we cannot see. So telling like that is wrong speech, because they only tell what they feel, what they think, not the reality. So that is wrong speech. In saying that there is no other world, they contradict those perfected ones who know the other world. So there were perfected ones, and there can be even nowadays perfected ones, monks who can see other world and who realized other world and then taught to the people about another world, about afterlife. So by telling that there is no afterlife, they contradict to those perfected ones. And then in convincing another that there is no other world, they are convincing them to accept untrue teaching. So whenever they convince other people that there is no other world, no afterlife, they are convincing someone to believe a wrong teaching, and on account of that they glorify themselves and put others down. This is also a good point. So the people who do not believe in any religion, maybe we also have in our Buddhist countries and of course in other countries, the people who are atheists and the people who are irreligious. So they glorify themselves, telling that we don't believe those stuff, we don't believe what we cannot see, we just believe what we can see. So by telling those things, they glorify themselves and they try to put others down. So they give up their former ethical conduct and are established in unethical conduct. So by having such a view within them, they give up their former ethical conduct. If they had ethical conduct within them, if they were doing good by their body, speech or mind, they, after undertaking this kind of view, they give up those ethical conducts and they establish in unethical conducts, because there is no need anymore to do good, and there is no need anymore to avoid doing bad. And that is how wrong view gives the rise to these many bad, unskillful qualities. So like this, wrong view gives rise to unskillful qualities such as wrong view, as we saw earlier, wrong thought, wrong speech, contradicting the noble ones, contradicting the perfected ones like Buddha, and convincing others to accept untrue teaching, convincing others to accept what is not reality, and glorifying themselves and putting others down. So all these are unwholesome akusala qualities, and because of that wrong view, they are all these unwholesome qualities rise within their minds. So a sensible person reflects on this matter in this way. Sensible person means a wise person, a person with. So a sensible person means someone with good intelligence. Someone can think about, reflect about something deeply. So a sensible person, a person with wisdom, a wise person reflects on this matter like this. How? If there is no other world, when this individual's body breaks up, they will keep themselves safe. So as those people say, if there is no other world, if there is no afterlife, when this individual's body breaks up, that means when this individual dies after their death, they will be okay, they will be keep themselves safe. That means nothing will happen to them after death, because there is no afterlife. So whatever they do in this world, whatever belief they had, nothing will happen to them. And if there is another world, when their body breaks off after death, they will be reborn in a place of loss, a bad place, an underworld, hell. So if there is afterlife, contradictory to what they believed, so they believed that there is no afterlife, and they did all the bad things they can do in this life. And if there is afterlife, as taught by Lord Buddha and as taught by other ascetics who can see afterlife, if there is afterlife, those people will be reborn in a very bad place, such as a hell, right, as taught in our religions. So, but let's assume that those who say that there is no other world are correct. Let's assume they are correct. Regardless, even if they are correct, that individual is still criticized by sensible people in the present life as being an immoral individual of wrong view, a nihilist. So let's assume that what those people said is correct. There is no afterlife. So if there is no afterlife, they will not, nothing will happen to them after the death. But still, regardless, still what will happen is that within this life they will be criticized, they will be blamed by the wise people in the community, because they are doing bad, they have a wrong view, and they are not conducting good. So the wise people, if you ask from a wise people about that nihilist, that wise people will never praise him or her. They will criticize him or her for having such a wrong view and for doing bad and for not doing good, for not leading a good life. But if there really is another world, they lose the both counts. For they are criticized by sensible people in the present life, and when their body breaks up after death, they will be reborn in a place of loss. So if there is another world, in both counts, in both aspects, they will be they will lose. That means in this life also they will be blameworthy, and after the death also they will go to a bad place. They will reborn in a place of loss. So we call it niraya or apaya, right? So in both aspects, if there is afterlife and they did not believe it and they did not do good, they did only bad, they will lose the both aspects. Yeah, this very life and afterlife also. They have wrongly undertaken this guaranteed teaching in such a way that it encompasses the positive outcomes of one side only, leaving out the skillful premise. That means they have wrongly undertaken this guaranteed teaching. They have wrongly undertaken, they have wrongly applied this teaching in their lives in such a way that encompasses the positive outcomes of one side only. That means one side here refers to their side, what they believed. So only if what they believed is correct, they will have positive outcomes. They will be safe. But if their view is wrong, there will be many bad consequences. They will have to suffer a lot in the next life, and even in this life. So their view, their view and the path they took has encompasses positive outcomes of one side only. Only if their belief is right, they will have positive outcomes. But if their view is wrong, they will have to suffer a lot. So this path is not really a guaranteed path that should be chosen by wise, because if like a wise people should choose a path that will have no or less bad consequences. So here, how will a wise man think or reflect or behave? Let's see. Since this is so, consider those ascetics and Brahmins whose view is that there is meaning in giving, etc. Now we are moving to the second type of doctrine. There are people who believe in afterlife, people who believe in karma. You can accept that they will reject bad conduct by body, speech and mind and undertake and implement good conduct. So those people, because they believe in afterlife, because they believe and because they have the view that there is an afterlife, they will do good and they will reject bad. The reason is that those people know that the unskillful qualities of akusala dhamma are full of drawbacks. There are many drawbacks of akusala, and they are full of sordidness, and they are corrupt. They are full of corruption. They are corrupted. And kusala dhammas, skillful qualities, have the benefit and cleansing power of renunciation, as we discussed earlier. Moreover, not only that, since there actually is another world, there is another world. Their view is right view. Their thought is right thought. Their speech is right, and they do not contradict those perfected ones such as Buddha, and they convince others to accept true teaching, and they do not glorify themselves or put others down on account of that view. So they give up their former unethical conduct. Because of that view, they give up their unethical conduct and they establish an ethical conduct. So this is how their right view or samma ditthi leads them to right view, right thought, right speech, and not contradicting to the noble ones, etc. So all these good qualities rise from the right view. So here also, this is the second type of doctrine, second type of path to be taken. So a sensible person, as before, a wise person reflects on this like this. If there is another world, when this individual who believed in another world dies, body breaks up means dies, right? When this individual dies, after death, they will be reborn in a good place because they did good, because they rejected bad. But let's assume that those who say that there is no other world are correct. Let's assume that the people who said that there is no other world are correct, and this person believed in other world, but in fact there is no other world. Let's assume like that. So regardless, even if there is not another world, they are praised by the wise, they are praised by the sensible people. That means even if there is not another world, they led a good life in this world because of their their belief. So they rejected bad things and they behaved good in this life. That means they are praiseworthy by the wise. They are not blameworthy like the previous person. So even if there is no afterlife, in this life they can lead their lives in a good manner, in a praiseworthy manner because of that view. And if there is really another world, they win on both counts. If there is another world, as they believed, in this life also they are praiseworthy, and in afterlife also they will enjoy what they have done in the previous lives. So that is it. Now we have to move to another doctrine, but before that we don't have time to discuss whole sutta. But so the main point we have to focus is that the doctrine of certainty, or the assured path taught by Lord Buddha, is that undertaking and implementing views that can be safe in this life and also in afterlife. No matter afterlife is true or false, if you believe in afterlife, you will behave well in this life, and because of that behavior you will enjoy your life in this life, and also you will enjoy in afterlife. So this is called as the assured path. When you are skeptical about religions, when you are skeptical about religious teachers, so if you are skeptical about religious scripts, what you have to do is not to reject those scripts completely, but to behave in such a manner that you will be safe, even if no matter those religious scripts are correct or wrong. So you have to take that path, not the other path. So that is the teaching of the Buddha. So that is called as APAÄNNAKA PATIPADA, the practice of the certain practice, or the assured path. No matter religious texts are right or wrong, you will be safe. You will enjoy in both lives. So that is the APAÄNNAKA PATIPADA. So here now I'm going to explain very briefly, because we have no time, the doctrine of non-doing. The doctrine of non-doing. Previously we talked about nihilism, right? We discussed about nihilism. That is one kind of MÂGHA ditti. We call it Natthikavada in Pali, Natthikavada, or in Sinhala we call it Nastika Drushtiya. So that is nihilism. And the second one is Akiriyavada in Pali. This is also one kind of MÂGHA ditti. The second type of MÂGHA ditti, the doctrine of non-doing. So some people believe that there is no effective doing. Whatever you do, that doing is not effective. It will not have effects. So in the previous doctrine it was suggesting that you can do anything. You can do merits and unwholesome things. You can do kusala or akusala, but you will not have an afterlife to enjoy or suffer them. That is the first ditti, or the doctrine. And this one suggests that there is no karma, there is no kusala or akusala. No matter you do what, no matter you the one who acts does nothing wrong when they punish, mutilate, torture, aggrieve, oppress, intimidate, or when they encourage others to do the same. No matter what you do, no matter if you punish someone or kill someone or torture someone or oppress someone or intimidate someone, you will not have, that is not akusala. There is no such a thing called as akusala kamma. They do nothing wrong when they kill, steal, break into houses. That means, panatipata, adinna dana, and so on. You will not have any akusala. And no matter what you do good, no matter how much you give to others, no matter how virtuous you are, you will not have any kusala. So that is the doctrine of non-doing or Theravada. So here also Buddha explains that. So some people have that belief, and contradictorily some other people have the belief that there is something called as doing, there is something called as karma. If you do good, you are doing kusala karma, and if you do bad, you are doing akusala karma. So here also what you have to do is, when there are such two doctrines, you have to choose the certain path, you have to choose the guaranteed or assured path. If you also without knowing well, if you believe the people saying that there is no such a thing called as kusala or akusala, don't do things for kusala or akusala, just do. We can hear those things in social media. So if you believe them, and if you behave, if you do things, if you lead your life according to them, what will happen is that this life will be safe, and after death you will be safe if their view is correct, right? But still you will be blameworthy by the wise. So if you do not believe those people, and if you believe that there is karma, if you believe kusala or akusala karma, you cannot see or understand it by your own insight, that is correct. But we believe in Buddha and other respect-worthy people like that. So if you believe in karma, you will tend to do good things, and you will tend to reject bad things. Because of that, in this life also, you will lead a good life, no matter afterlife is there or not, no matter karma is correct or not, you will lead a good life because you are doing good things, and you will enjoy all the good karmas that you did in the samsara, in the afterlife. So that is the guaranteed path. And that was about the second MÂGHA, which is Theravada, and the third one is the third one is the doctrine of non-causality. The doctrine of non-causality, this is the third MÂGHA, which is called as Ahetukavada. Ahetukavada, that means for anything, for your purification, for suffering, there is no cause. Some people reject the cause, hetu. So Buddhism is not like that. Buddhism is, Buddhism is called as Hetuphala Vada. We believe in cause. Everything has a cause. So if you take this doctrine as correct, you will not believe in karma at all. You will not believe in vipaka or the result at all, and you will tend to do bad. You will tend to reject good. So here also the doctrine of non-causality, the third MÂGHA, you have to take the assured path, not the unassured path. So we discussed about the three niyata MÂGHA. If you are Abhidhamma learners, you may surely have learned these three, the three MÂGHA, Nattika Ditti, and Akiriya Ditti, and Ahetuka Ditti. So if someone have these views, they, according to Buddhism, they are assured to go to a bad place after death. They are assured to go to hell, in other words. So, and some people, just to finish the sutta, the main points are already discussed, but we are going to finish the sutta. So there are no immaterial realms. So some people believe that there are no immaterial realms. Immaterial realms are arupa loka in Pali, arupa bhumi. So we believe that there are immaterial beings in the universe. Immaterial beings, they are reborn in those worlds because of the meditation, immaterial meditation they develop in this life. So some people believe that there cannot be such beings, there cannot be material beings. So here also Buddha advises that if you do not believe in immaterial beings, you will never go to that immaterial world. And if you believe in immaterial world, maybe you can try and go there. And in this life also, because of that effort, you will not lose anything, you will be happy. And the last one is, there is no cessation of being. So some people have the view that there is no cessation of being, that means Nibbana, the cessation of suffering. So if you have the view that there is no cessation of suffering, then you will not put any effort, you will not make any effort to get rid of suffering, and because of that you will suffer in this life and you will suffer in whole samsara, because you do not believe in the Nibbana, you do not believe in the cessation of suffering, because you cannot see it. So if you believe the cessation of suffering as cessation of being, or cessation of suffering as correct, if you believe the people like Buddha saying that there is something called as cessation of the suffering, if you believe that, you will make effort, you will put effort to make that true to yourself, and you will meditate, you will do other good things, you will learn Dhamma, you will listen to Dhamma, you will do all other good things, and you will get rid of defilements, you will reject doing bad things, and as a result what will happen is that if there is something called as cessation of being, if there is something called as Nibbana, you will achieve it, you will attain it in this life or in another life. And if there is no such a thing called as Nibbana, still you lose nothing. Because of that view, you will enjoy this life, because you are doing good, you are trying to be good, you are getting rid of akusala. So you are leading a very good life that is praiseworthy. And you are contributing the society, you are contributing the world to be a better place, because you are behaving well, you are making the world a better place. So no matter there is cessation of being or not, you are safe in this life and in other lives. So that is the assured path, that is the Apannaka Patipada, that is the Apannaka path, guaranteed path. So Buddha advises us to take that path instead of taking the other path. So those five doctrines are mentioned by the Buddha in the Sutta, Apannaka Sutta. Furthermore, here Buddha mentions something else in the same Sutta: householders. These four people are found in the world. What for? There are four types of people found in the world. So this do not have a direct connection with the previous the previous explanation, but there is there is a connection, but that is not a direct connection. I will explain about that. So there are four people found in the world. Who are they? One person mortifies themselves. That means there are some people who make themselves suffer, and one person mortifies others, committed to the practice of mortifying others. There are some people who do not mortify themselves, but they mortify others. They make others suffer. They make others suffer. Mortify means making someone else suffer, making someone else worry. So there is another type of people who mortify themselves and also mortify others. And there is one type of people, they do not mortify themselves or others, committed to the practice of not mortifying themselves or others. They live without wishes in the present life, extinguished, cooled, experiencing bliss, having become holy in themselves. So these are the four types of people. So the first type, one mortifies oneself. The person who mortifies oneself means that some people have such religious beliefs that you have to mortify yourself to get rid of suffering. So because of their wrong view, you make yourself suffer. And they are the first type. And the second type, not only these people, but let's say if we have defilements within ourselves, if you have hatred or jealousy or envy or delusion or lust, if you let those defilements grow within yourself. You are mortifying yourself. Because of those defilements, you have to suffer. Whenever defilements arise within yourself, you have to suffer. And because as a result of those defilements, you will suffer in samsara. The person who mortifies others means there are some people who mortify others by killing them or torturing them. So such people also are there. And one person mortifies themselves and others. So some people like the so in the sutta itself, explanation is there, but I am not reading it because it's very long and we don't have time. So there, let's say a king is there, and he has wrong view about the reality of the world, and because of that wrong view, he mortifies himself. He makes himself suffer by doing by practicing wrong religious practices, and also he encourages the people in the country to practice wrong religious practices. So he mortifies himself and mortifies others. But we can take some real life examples for this also. If you have hatred, and because of that hatred, if you accuse someone, or if you hit someone, or if you, let's say, blame someone, so what happens is, because of your hatred, you mortify yourself, and also at the same time you mortify someone else. So then you are included in this third type. And one person doesn't mortify either themselves or others. Who is that? Let's read only that part. So this is the explanation for those first three people and the last type of people. It's when a realized one arises in the world, perfected, a fully awakened Buddha. When a Buddha is, when the Buddha arises in the world, a householder hears that teaching. A householder or someone else hears the teaching of the Buddha, and what he or she does is that they give up these 5 hindrances, corruptions of the heart that weaken wisdom. They give up 5 hindrances which are called as kama, chanda, vyapada, thinamid, etc. And they practice Dhamma in the Buddha Sasana, and after practicing they achieve first absorption, second absorption, third absorption, and fourth absorption. So those are the English words. So Patama Jhana, Dutiya Jhana, Tatiya Jhana, Chatutha Jhana, Dhyana in Sanskrit or Sinhala. So they achieve those dhyanas, and then they extend it toward recollection of past lives. They extend those dhyanas towards the recollection of past lives, that is Hubbe Nivasa Anussati, and then they extend that knowledge to the death and rebirth of extend it toward the knowledge of the death and rebirth of sentient beings. This is the Dibba Chakku Jnana. This is also one type of Abhinya. And at the end, so this is here also I have to mention something like nowadays some people or some monks describe Dhamma telling that the dhyanas and so on, dhyana, abhinya and so on are not in accordance with Buddhism. They are just Hindu teachings, and Buddha does not encourage us to develop them. But you can clearly see that in the Buddha's words, we can directly see the encouragement to meditate, encouragement for samatha meditation. And at the end, what will happen? They extend it toward knowledge of the ending of defilements. They truly understand this is suffering, this is origin of suffering, this is the cessation of suffering, this is the practice that leads to the cessation of suffering. At the end, the practitioner of Buddhism understand dukkha, cessation of suffering, and dukkha samudaya, the origin of suffering, dukkha nirodha, dukkha is suffering, and dukkha samudaya, origin of suffering, dukkha nirodha, cessation of suffering, and the dukkha nirodha gamini patipada, the path or the practice that leads to the cessation of suffering. And knowing and seeing like this, because of this knowledge, their mind is freed from defilements of sensuality. Their mind is freed completely from all the defilements, and they are free from the desire to be reborn and ignorance. When they are freed, they know they are freed. So this is what happens when you become an arahant. They understand rebirth is ended. After becoming Arahant, they understand that rebirth is ended. The spiritual journey has been completed. What has to be done has to be done. So all these are how an Arahant understands about his Arahantship. So this is called a person who neither mortifies themselves nor others. Being committed to the practice of not mortifying themselves or others, they live without wishes in the present life, extinguished, cooled, experiencing bliss, having become holy in themselves. So this is the nature of Arahants. They do not have wishes about in the present life. They do not have wishes in the present life, and they don't have wishes about the afterlife, and they are also extinguished. That means they exist in this life, but after the death they will be completely extinguished. They will not have any future life, and they are cooled. They do not have any suffering or worry within their minds after achieving the Arahanthood, and they are experiencing bliss within themselves. So after the death they will completely attain the Nibbana, but even before the death, just after being Arahant, they are halfly we can say that they have partially attained Nibbana, and because of that they can experience the bliss within themselves, and they become holy in themselves. So the Buddha delivered this discourse to the villagers of Sala, the Brahmins and the householders of Sala. So this is how usually a sutta ends, right? When he had spoken, when the Lord Buddha has spoken, the Brahmins and householders of Sala said to the Buddha, "Excellent, Master Gautama, excellent. Abhikkantam bho Gautama, abhikkantang." So this is how they praised the discourse, as if he were writing the overturned or revealing the hidden, or pointing out the path to the lost. That means if something is turned upside down, then no matter, let's say there is a pot, you have turned it upside down, and no matter how you pour water to it, it will not be filled with water. So the teaching of the Lord Buddha was like turning that overturned pot or something up, writing the overturned, and it was like revealing the hidden. Something was hidden and Lord Buddha revealed it. So this teaching, the APAÄNNAKA teaching, actually this is not especially about those 4 types of people, but about the APAÄNNAKA teaching, the assured path to be practiced. So it was like revealing the hidden or pointing out the path to the lost. It was like pointing out or telling the correct path to someone who has lost in a forest or somewhere like that, or lighting a lamp with the dark so people with good eyes can see what's there. In a dark, when people are there and they cannot see anything, someone can, if someone lights a lamp in that dark, all the people can see what is there in the room or in the place. So what Buddha does by preaching Dhamma is something like this, like lighting lamp in the dark. And Master Gautama has made the teaching clear in many ways. We go for refuge to Master Gautama, to the teaching and to the mendicant Sangha. That means they take Lord Buddha as their refuge, they take the Dhamma as their refuge, and they take Sangha as their refuge. From this day forth, may Master Gautama remember us as lay followers who have gone for refuge for life. So they ask Lord Buddha to remember them, to bear them in Lord Buddha's mind as lay followers who have taken Lord Buddha and Dhamma and Sangha, taken triple gem as their refuge. So that is the end of the APAÄNNAKA Sutta. So in the sutta, what especially we learned was about the assured path or the doctrine of certainty, and also we learned about 4 types of people who mortifies themselves, who mortifies others, who mortifies themselves and others, and who do not mortify themselves or others. So the 4th type was arahants, right? The people who have achieved nibbana. So especially the first part of the sutta, that is to say, the assured path is very beneficial for our lives. So even as Buddhists, we believe in Buddhism and we believe in Lord Buddha, we believe in religious texts, but still sometimes we are skeptical about the teachings in the religious texts. So this teaching taught by Buddha, this is somewhat like the Kalama Sutta. You may have heard, you may have learned, somewhat like Kalama Sutta. In Kalama Sutta also Buddha encourages the free will, encourages the freedom of thought. So here also Buddha has completely encouraged the freedom of thought. You can think by yourselves and take the path. Buddha is not forcing you to take any path, but when you take the path, when you choose a path, you have to choose an assured path. You have to choose a guaranteed path. So that was the advice of the Buddha in the APAÄNNIKA Sutta. So I hope you learned something. I hope you can take a lesson for your life that can be applied in your life from this sutta. And also it was I hope it was beneficial for you to read the sutta, the original sutta, the translation of the original sutta, because we rarely have that chance to read the original sutta. We usually read other books written by scholars or monks, and we usually listen to Dhamma talks. But today what we did was reading the original sutta uttered by Lord Buddha. So only difference was there was no Pali language, because I did not take the Pali because it is somewhat difficult for you, and that was the only difference. So let's wish all the merits we accumulated by listening to this sutta, by learning this sutta, by thinking and reflecting on the teachings of Lord Buddha. So all the merits we accumulated may lead us to the supreme bliss of Nibbana. So let's conclude the Dhamma talk by reciting Buddha Sasanang Chirang Titthato. Buddha Sasanang Chirang Titthato. Buddha Sasanang Chirang Titthato. Buddha Sasanang Chirang Titthato. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.